Hello. That was terrible. You know what? We're just going to go with it. Hello and welcome to the 15th episode of the Nobody Asked For This podcast. Yay! I hope everybody's having a great week. Again, by everybody, I mean probably like the 3 people that listen to this. I have actually stopped checking the statistics. So to my knowledge, of the last 3 episodes, I mean, I could check and there's like 3,000 listeners. So I know I say no one listens to this, but I haven't actually checked. Now, I haven't gotten the call from Hollywood or even, anywhere that's not Hollywood. Even if I got a call from like the middle of nowhere to come on our morning show, I would do that. Anywhere. I'm willing to appear anywhere that there's a satellite radio or like some sort of television set. But I haven't checked the stats in a while, but here I am. So I hope anyone listening to this has had a good week, whether it's the week that I'm recording this in, if it's in 4 years, that week, hope it's good. I'm coming to you from a different location. I'm in a garage. I'm surrounded by very interesting and eclectic range of, I would say, items. There's a hairbrush here. I actually need a hairbrush. We're back at it. Now, I know I said last week that I would be, actually you could probably hear the ASMR of the hairbrush. There we go, I can rebrand. Welcome back to my podcast. Sips water. Yeah, I don't have whatever, I've said this before, I don't have whatever ASMR chip that you need in your brain for that to work, but whatever, I respect the hustle either way. Anyway, I know I said last week that I would have, a special episode this week. I had it, I had it all planned out. So that didn't work out as planned. So it's actually just like a regular episode. Maybe I'll do the idea that I had. I've done a lot of, over-promising. So the last promise that I will make is I will never promise something again. I did come through, if you watched or listened a couple episodes ago, I did come through on the Antarctica promise, but that was about it. That was the last one, the first and only. And I was I was scared for a second that I wouldn't get an episode out this week, and like all the people that wait every Thursday morning would be disappointed. Why is my voice coming out? But good news, we're here, we're good. This entire episode will be recorded, edited, uploaded. Okay, tip 1, if you want to do a podcast, maybe don't do it in like a bit of a dusky garage because your entire voice is going to go out. But yes, as I was saying, this whole episode will be brought to you in part by my phone. Basically sponsored by Apple. They should send me the new iPhone something, 15, 14. Either way, honestly, Apple, if you're listening to this, you don't even have to send me the new one. Send me like, if you got like a couple 12s lying around, I'll take that. Honestly, even like a 9. Oh, I don't think they did a 9. If you have an 8 with like lots of gigabytes, I'll take that as well. If it's an 8 with less than the highest amount of gigabytes, then you can probably keep it. I'll be fine. I didn't think I was going to be able to get an episode, but it all worked out. I was sitting around and I was procrastinating calling to change an appointment that I have coming up that I have to cancel. And I was like, I'm not doing that. So I guess I could podcast instead. I don't know what it is about making phone calls to, like, not customer service, but, like, any sort of organization that I have to ask for something of. It just scares me. Like, even though really the whole interaction is scripted, for the most part. Like, I'm going to call, they're going to answer, they're going to say, hi, insert business name here. So-and-so speaking, how can I help you? And then I'm going to say, hey, this is yada yada, I have to do this. And they're going to say, okay, does this time work? And then I'm going to say, no, I have to do a podcast that day. And they're going to say, oh, well, how about this time? Okay, that one works. Okay, perfect. See you then. Do you have COVID? No. Okay, bye. Like, the whole thing is scripted. I don't know what's so scary. But I just don't like making phone calls. Honestly, even to people that I do know. Not fun. And I don't know where that comes from. I don't know if that's because I've, grown up in the time of texting, in the time of emails, in the time of Club Penguin, Webkins chats, just general computer usage. I'm not good on the phone. It just scares me. I'm always like, I'd rather do in person. Like, I'd rather see your face. The worst is like Zoom. Like if you have to do like a doctor's appointment on Zoom, or even when they had like Zoom school, I know everyone's probably sick of hearing Zoom. It was not a good experience in the slightest. Like meeting people on Zoom. Like when we had to do the full, like there were a couple semesters in like university that I had to do full Zoom, and they would put us in these god-awful things called breakout rooms. I'm sure I've talked about this before. I think me and Kata did. But basically they would, come at the beginning of the class, they would say, this is our work, yada, 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 this lessons. I was like Googling, random stuff, probably on Netflix half the time. And then they say, okay, now you're going to go into discussion groups on Zoom. And they would break you off into these little groups. Like you would have to click a button and then you'd enter, and it would be like just 4 random people from the class. And I swear to you, about 50% of the time, everybody had their microphones off, their cameras off, not talking, not discussing anything that we were supposed to do. And actually one time, we were doing that, and then the professor came in, because I guess whoever's running the Zoom can like check on each of the groups, and there was just nothing happened. Now, thankfully, it was an older professor, so I think they believed that there was like a glitch or something was wrong, when really the system was working perfectly. We just were not. So there's that. I don't know what else to tell you there. But I'm working on it. 2023, that'll be my goal, to make phone calls with ease. What an existence that will be. I just feel like everything should be emailed. Or like text. Like it's easier for you, it's easier for me. Actually, one of the good things to come out of COVID, obviously it was not good overall. But like Uber Eats and like Skip the Dishes, like food delivery services, added in their app an option for like contactless delivery, which is basically, I don't talk to you, you don't talk to me delivery. And the idea was, they'll just leave it on your porch and then you can go out and get it, or leave it at your door. And then you never have to see the person because of COVID. But now we've just completely taken that out of context, and no one's seeing anybody. No one is seeing anybody. There's no person-to-person interaction, which I kind of... Like, I don't mind meeting strangers. I would say my favorite group of people are complete strangers who I'm never going to see again. That's who I'm best with, Because we can joke, we can, try and relate to whatever we're relating to in the moment. But then if I say something stupid, like not like offensive or anything, but just like a dumb joke, I'll probably never see you again. I don't have to be like, oh shoot, no, I have to see them. I have to face the consequences of my, stupid thoughts. No. And again, not like I'm saying something rude. Just like if I come off weird, they'll just think, oh, he sounds fun, and not like, oh, he's like deranged, Because like I'm good in small doses. I think if you have to, if you listen to one episode of this podcast, you're like, oh, he's probably fun. But then if you keep listening like over and over and over, which don't worry, no one's doing, I feel like you'd probably get sick of me, which is not great promotion for season 3 of this podcast. But it's just the truth. I'm nothing if not honest. This is the attitude that having 17 participation trophies gets you, Like, I know what I'm good at, I know what I'm bad at. I would actually win the gold medal for most participation ribbons won in an elementary school career. Like, I was never even, in like the track and field, but the track part, I would do those sprints. And I swear to you, the 100-meter dash around the 60-meter mark, I was feeling it. I was sweating. I started jogging. Everyone had finished 3 hours ago. They were like at the concession stand getting the chips and the hot dog, and I was still finishing like the 100-meter sprint. Not the mile run, not like the one where you have to go a couple times around the track, like the dash. Like I actually contemplated stopping in the middle of the 100-meter sprint, like the one where you're supposed to be like running fast. I almost stopped. Of course, that resulted in a participation ribbon. But why I was saying that is because they had like first place, second place, third place. I actually remember one of the best days of my life was when I actually placed. Because again, it was like first, second, third, maybe fourth place ribbons. And then the rest was just participation. And there was one time I got fourth place ribbon because I was competing against 4 people. So I would have gotten the participation ribbon because I was last, but because I think enough people had dropped out of the race at that point, they probably saw me and they're like, oh, we're not going to beat that kid. I was able to get a ribbon. Actually, speaking of my track and field days, that being the best day of my life. And on the flip side, the worst day of my life is when I accidentally made it to the finals for the high jump. And I'm sure most of you know, but the high jump in track and field it's basically this like cushion that sits behind a bar. And the bar is on two sort of, I guess it's more of a rod. It's like a circular, like it looks like the shower rod. And there's these two kind of stands that the bar sits on. And I want to say there's like 3 or 4 rounds. In each round, they raise the bar up. Now, I don't know why I signed up for this. I do know why. I just wanted to, everyone to think I was better than them because I did every activity possible. So in my pursuit of having people think I was, just amazing, just star citizen, name the elementary school after me now, give me my public school, put me in the line for the throne, move over George like I'm coming. In pursuit of that, I almost broke my butt on a high jump, and I'm going to tell you how. So basically, like I said, there was multiple rounds, and obviously the first round, the bar is not that high, but literally and figuratively, the literal bar is not, I think it's probably like maybe 2 meters off the ground. So the idea is you're supposed to start a few feet back. I don't actually know how far that is, maybe 5 to 10 feet back. And you're supposed to kind of run up in a curve. And essentially, once you get parallel to the bar, you're supposed to kind of hop from the side and then hop over and land on the mat. I'm sure you could probably Google this. I'm sure I'm making it sound more complicated than it is. But again, the first round, the bar's not too high. So me, always, my goal was, I'm out first round. Usually, I didn't have to try to get out first round because I was just genuinely bad. I had a very poor jumping skills, which is kind of funny because I did pretty much every aspect of track and field, both track and field. I did the discus, I did the shot put, I did the jumping, I did the high jump, the long jump, running. I sucked at all of it. You'd think I'd have one skill, sucked at all of it. Actually, in the shot put, which is the one where you have I don't know the weights. See, I didn't plan this, so I don't know the details, but it's a pretty heavy ball that you're supposed to chuck, and then they measure how far it lands. I guess physically, from the look of me, everybody thought, ooh, this guy's going to be able to throw far. And then I would get there, and the ball would essentially, maybe reach my toe. It was actually a problem. I almost hit my toe once. That's how not far I could throw it. So it was actually amazing that I sucked at everything as much as I did. But the high jump, I usually sucked enough that I didn't have to try and purposely get out the first round. It just, natural selection, that's what happened. Now you may be wondering, why did you try and get out the first round? And I'm going to tell you why. Because basically, what you had to do was you had to jump high enough to get over the bar, but also not knock over the bar in the process. And the reason I wanted to get out so bad is because if you knocked over the bar and landed on it, that hurt. The bar is made of metal, so you're essentially landing on a metal rod on your back, which hurts. I don't want anything to do with that. So my normal way out of it was round 1, I'm either going to jump essentially underneath it and just kind of land on the mattress and take a quick nap, or I'm going to fault. Anytime not the referee, but the official, whatever, doing the judging. These elementary school things, I swear, they made them sound like the Olympics. I'm it's really not that big of a deal, but sure, whatever. They had timers and stuff. I'm calm down. Clipboards. Anytime you get a clipboard involved, it automatically makes things 3 times more important than it needs to be. It's a very not serious event that was made very serious. But anytime the official would tell me, oh, you faulted, you jumped with 2 feet or whatever, I'm oh, shucks, what? Ugh, I didn't even get to try and jump over the rod? What a shame. In the back of my head, I'm haha, I win. That was my winning. Or, again, I would jump kind of underneath it, land on the mat. However, this day that I've taken 10 minutes to get to, that I'm branding as the worst day of my life, was the day I lined up at the start line, did my, little half-assed jog to the mat, put 1 foot over, leaped with, maybe 30% effort and accidentally passed the bar. Now, if you had from that moment told me 5 minutes prior, you're going to pass the bar. If someone out of nowhere said, I'm from the future, you're going to pass the bar, I would have been sure that they were talking about lawyer. Like I was going to be a lawyer. I was going to pass the legal bar test, not actually get over the high jump bar. And I remember landing on the mat, because in midair, I was like, oh shoot, I might have jumped too high. Like this is going to hurt. And then I landed on landed, just for that sound effect. Don't say I don't have sound effects. I landed on the mat, and I was like, that's so weird. Like, I don't feel the bar. Like, maybe it fell off. Maybe I knocked it on my way down. And then I remember I distinctly, like, not verbatim remember. Like, what's that word? Not visceral. What is that called when you remember something, like, clear? I'll just use that. Clearly remember looking up and seeing the bar still there. And I was like, what is that bar? Oh, I jumped over it. And I was terrified. Now, why am I terrified, you ask? Because at that point in my high jump career, and never again did this happen, I was at unprecedented territory. I was going to round 2, where the bar is twice as high. So I was like, I don't even know. Like, I hadn't even practiced intentionally messing this up. So I was like, okay, how did I do this? Like, because it was at that point that I was like, oh wait, do I not suck at this? Like, do I actually start trying? Do I, maybe give it, if not 100%, like 78% effort? But I was just too terrified, and it was all happening at once. I didn't have time to speak to my coach. So I was like, you know what? We're going to go back, square one. We're in round 2. We're going to fault. So I'm pretty sure I started like skipping towards the thing, and the guy was like, that's not allowed. And then I think he tried to offer me a redo, but I was like, no. We have to stick to the integrity of the sport of, everyone's standing here with clipboards in the rain. Like, I don't want to be a disgrace to the high jump community. I was like about to put out a statement, a press release of like, I did not mean to make light of the situation. So I voluntarily exited that sport, never to be seen again. I didn't make that mistake twice. Or I guess I didn't make that non-mistake twice. I made several mistakes after that in the high jump space. But yeah, that was the time I accidentally made it over the high jump rod. First and only time. It was a similar story to the time that I accidentally made it to some sort of like, it was like a geography trivia game in front of the whole school. Like, I actually had no idea how geography worked. I'm pretty sure I talked about this in one of the episodes before. And I had to pretend like I did in front of the school. And pretty much failed really bad. But yeah, and news unrelated to me, today is the first day of fall, I believe. I don't know this for 100% fact, but I'm pretty sure this week, we're transitioning into fall, which is a little bit funny because I feel like we've been in fall for about 3 months. Oh, wait, okay. I have not a snack graveyard, it's a snack update. For about 3 months, I've been looking for these Neapolitan Oreos. It's an Oreo. I don't know that I talked about this before, but it's an Oreo with it's a waffle cone situation on the actual like cookie part. And then the inside, it's like a layer of the regular cream, a layer of chocolate cream, and then a layer of strawberry cream. And I had been looking for these probably since May, and I hadn't been able to find them. I checked multiple countries. I spanned the global search spanned 2 countries, 17 Walmarts, 4, local stores. Like, I checked everywhere, and they weren't there. And I actually was really proud of myself that I had found peace with not finding them. I was like, you know what? I was like someone who, like, after they got off The Bachelor and it didn't work out, was like, you know what? Maybe this life isn't for me. Maybe I'm just, going to be single. I'm going to focus on me. So I was ready to focus on me. And then, happens when you least expect it. I'm in the aisles of another store that I hadn't checked before. Of course, the last place you look, that's always where it happens. I was going down the aisles, and I looked, and I was like, wait, they're there. And there they were, the Neapolitan Oreos. So I'm going to do a quick review of that. They were very good. I have to say that I enjoyed them. The box is now gone, so they're truly gone forever. But yeah, I mean, I would recommend them, but I don't think you'll be able to find them, unfortunately. Maybe they'll come back next year. But the new frontier, the next level of Oreos, the latest and greatest in Oreo technology, is the pumpkin spice Oreos. So watch out for that. Hopefully I'll get a review to you all before they disappear. So it's like, go find these instead of, more of a in remembrance. Speaking of in remembrance, I know I brought this up last week, and I always say we don't do, current events, but I would be, not devastated, but remiss if I did not mention that this episode is being released on the week of mourning, or I guess the week of the day of mourning. We are 3 or 4 days out from the day of mourning, the global day of mourning. Queen Elizabeth, Queenship III has, is downloaded further into the monarchy, into the royal throne. I haven't heard many updates from him. But yes, the global day of mourning. I don't know if anyone felt it. It felt a little different. It felt a little sad, a little bit melancholic. A melancholy monarchy. There we go. But yeah, I just want to check in, see how everyone was doing on this week of mourning. I know it took out a lot from us, but yeah, I'm still a little confused. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, on Monday is the Queen's funeral. So I think a few countries, like in the Commonwealth, which I don't exactly know what that is. I would like to have wealth, and I'm pretty common, so I don't know, Commonwealth. They got a day off. I don't know if this is a continuing day off. I don't know if it's like when places name something like from here on out, like March 1st, 2023 will be known as, Taco Day. And it's not like every day, like that specific day. Like that specific, like that day, that year is your day. So I don't know if the day of mourning will be every September 19th or if it was just September 19th, 2022, but I'm open to either. Actually, saying that makes me think, you know what makes no sense? When they give people like the key to the city. Like someone who did a lot of good, after a few years, honestly not even did that much good. I've watched American Idol for a few seasons, and they would always, during the hometown episode where they would show the people like going back to their music teacher and start like crying on the floor or whatever, they would always give them the key to the city. And I was thinking, wow, what a useless way to be honored. Like, what does that key lead to? And also, whose idea was that? Did we just take it out of context? Was there keys to cities that like you needed? Also, is there only one key? Can you go to a key copier and say, can you copy this key to the city? And they're like, no, we have to call the mayor. Like I just don't understand. And then like when you receive, because I'm sure I'll get one at some point from at least a few cities. Like, are you supposed to act like you won the lottery and like pose with your key to the city, like you're posing with that like a big check that they give you when you win the lottery? I don't know key to the city etiquette, but it just seems like a nuisance. Like again on American Idol, they would have to stand there and be like, oh my God, like I always wanted the key to the city. But it looks like the only impact that event is making is like blocking traffic in the rest of the city. So, I don't know. Is American Idol still happening? I think it might be. I find it so funny that like there are a lot of people on American Idol that became famous, but like none in the last 15 years. Like the first few seasons, it was like, I wonder if that's because now like it's not hard. It's like easier to be famous. Like if you want to be famous, like you don't really need a talent. You just need a podcast microphone. No, but I think it used to be like if you're on TV, you're famous. Whereas now like there's too many people. Like it's too crowded. Like before there was space for famous people, and now it's just like if you're not like top of the top, creme de la creme, like there's no room, Like if you're not the top a TikTok person, you're out. If you're not the top podcast person, you're out. And ain't that the truth? Because my bank account, since I have started this, has not changed at all. I know I was saying that in the first episode, how, I was expecting, I kept checking, I would check the statistics for the podcast, found out we went viral, or not viral, but we landed on the Finnish podcast comedy charts. And I just checked my bank statements, my checking and my savings, and nothing changed. Truly can't believe it. Also, nary a brand deal have I been offered. Not one. I haven't even said no to one. So, if you're listening and thinking, wow, he must, not want to bother his listening audience with ads because, every other podcast I listen to has ads. Well, I'm going to, take you behind the curtain. No one's offered. Not even, a sketchy brand. Before I even had a podcast, I would get, Instagram messages every once in a while, hi, I'm selling this, whatever. This is a new sweatpants brand. Or no, it was a... something CBD, I think, or CBD oil, something. Yeah, someone tried to get me to sponsor their CBD, and I was like, well, I have 0 posts and 90 followers, all of which I follow back and did so in the year 2013 to the year 2015, maybe. So I don't know what good I can do for your company, but sure. And it was always by volunteer, by donation. So didn't make any money off of that. I don't even think I did it, but now I'm going to be the one coming to them. All these accounts that are normally bots, scamming people, not scamming, but spamming people into clicking on their links. I'm going to be going to those people and being hello, please help me. I wonder if that's illegal. I don't think it's illegal. I'm going to look into. I'm going to call my lawyers. Good thing I passed the bar. So I might have that. I'm going to check some of my textbooks, my law textbook. Maybe the LSAT book that I almost bought when I thought I was going to take the LSAT for those 12 and a half seconds. That I for sure talked about on the first episode. Go listen to that. Actually, yeah, maybe I should start do a recap. I know that the in thing now to do is if you were someone who was once on a show that people liked, that has a lot of episodes, the thing that you're supposed to do now is, maybe if your career's not going the way you would want to, or if you have a little bit extra free time, you're supposed to start a podcast where you recap the old episodes in order. So maybe starting next week, now that we have the first 15, the next 15 can be me re-listening to the first 15 and then giving commentary. Behind the scenes, this is the part of the episode that I had to cut out because I dropped my chips and then it went everywhere. Or, this is the part where I had a cold and a booger flew out of my nose in mid-sentence. Or this is the part where I spilled my entire watermelon water all over my lap that was $8 from Target and I was too embarrassed to admit. That may or may not have happened. May or may not. 50-50. And honestly, since no one's really listened to these 15 episodes, it would be not much repetition. Honestly, no one would even know. I think as a society, we really entered work smarter, not harder. I think for a while it was a lot of oh, we're gonna work hard. We're gonna go out there. We're gonna pound the pavement or whatever that can't be right. Whatever the saying is. Now I feel we're tired, and it's we were locked down for so long that we lost whatever drive we had, and we're you know what, whatever's gonna make me the most money. So we're gonna do that. So stay tuned for the next 15 episodes of original content from yours truly. And then I guess for episode 31, I'll have to come back and do original, and then do another 15, and then do the third set or fourth set of 15 be a recap of the third set of 15. There we go. We've really had a structure here. I'm nothing if not structural. Actually, everyone should be very proud of me. Normally, I record this a lot later than I do. It's still the day before, and I like to say it's because it keeps it fresh. I don't want to have to record, on Monday and then you hear this Thursday. You're hearing this tomorrow. What is that noise? Is someone mowing their lawn? Why would you do that? Oh, I would also like to call out, I'm not going to use any names, but okay. First, someone's mowing their lawn. Now there's a motorcycle. See, I apologize if this isn't actually being picked up. I can't imagine that it isn't because I'm not exactly working with noise cancellation technology. But there's someone to my right using some sort of weed whacker and someone on the road driving loudly. How dare they? I don't even remember what I was talking about. Oh, yes, back to the day of mourning. Not gonna use any names, but my whoever runs the garbage collection in my area decided that the day of mourning was canceled because they actually came and picked up the garbage. Picked up the garbage. That's probably the right term. Again, I am an English major. But yeah, I just thought that was kind of disrespectful. But I mean, hey, you know what I mean? You got to do your job. I'm gonna do my job, which I would say is, talking on this phone every week, but it's actually quite literally not a job. I could only dream of this making $1. Is the definition of job something that costs you money? Or not costs you money, but makes you money? Or is it just like something that you do? We're going to do a live, I never do this, but we're going to do a live information research and development. Definition of a job. See, don't say you didn't learn anything on this. A paid position of regular employment. Okay, so this is an unpaid position of regular, not really employment. Okay, or the second, I love how they give you two. 2, noun, a task or piece of work. I'm a piece of work, especially one that is paid. Okay, especially. Does it have to be one that's paid? Okay, let's use the verb. Do casual or occasional work. How is job a verb? Okay, 2, buy and sell as a broker dealer, especially on a small scale. Yeah, none of that made sense to me. So this is not a job, but we're going to try. So I thank you once again. I'm going to clock out. Thank you for listening. Again, I'm going to say it every time. You can find us. Check our website out. What is it? podcast.nobodyaskforthis.podbean.com. Check us out on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Samsung something or other, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, and iHeart Tacos. Thank you so much for listening. We will see you next week. And by we, it's still just me, guys. Still just me.